Was this major pump for Bitcoin all the way to the levels of $28,600 just a major trap for the bulls, and that we're going to see this dump all the way back down to the $25,000 level? Or could it be that yes, this was just a major trap for all the bears, because yes, potentially we were forming this head and shoulders formation with the left shoulder, the head, and also the potentially right shoulder with a price target of yes, $20,000. So guys, we're going to look at the charts to find out what we could expect. But most importantly, yes, we're going to look at the biggest trap in humanity, which is the global currency system with a 10-year return versus the dollar. And you can see all these fiat currencies with the top ranking, the Venezuelan Boulevard with minus 99.9%. So guys, yes, you can see this major debasement from all the fiat currencies priced in the US dollar, but we are also seeing the debasement of the US dollar itself, because if we go over to the M2 money supply, and here we can see that yes, the money supply is increasing year over year, and we can see that in the year 2020 we saw this major pump where a lot of money entered the market, and this is obviously debasing all the currencies including the US dollars. And what is the best step? Yes, dollar cost average into Bitcoin, because if we're only going to look at the previous returns of Bitcoin, we can see that Bitcoin is up 10% in the previous month compared to all the other investments like US treasuries minus 7.8%, gold minus 5.7%, and the stock market minus 5%. So it's obvious what is the safe haven out there with Bitcoin being deflationary and with only 21 million Bitcoin in circulation. And exactly that is also what 𝗦𝗲𝗶𝗍𝗲 knows. Because if we look at the performance since August 2020 when MicroStrategy adopted Bitcoin, we can see that even though we're in this major bear market and Bitcoin didn't even start the bull market yet, that MicroStrategy is up 126%, and we can see the S&P 500 in the same time period is only up 28%, and the Nasdaq 21%, and gold minus 9%, and silver minus 18%, and government bonds minus 20% from August 2020. So you can see that even though we're in a bear market at the moment and we haven't started with a bull market, that MicroStrategy is still 126% in profit. So what does it mean for you? Yes guys, dollar cost average into Bitcoin, because yes, the fiat money is a scam, and we got this latest post, new, Elon Musk calls fiat currencies a scam. Elon Musk's comment added fuel to the ongoing debate over the role of Bitcoin in a challenging traditional finance system. So yes, he calls out that fiat money is a scam, and he wants to create the Everything app with integrated payment system. So what is he going to use? Is he going to use fiat money? No, definitely not. And that's why guys, dollar cost average into Bitcoin. And if you want to buy crypto on the spot market or trade it on a leverage market, go over to Bybit, where you receive a major $30,000 deposit bonus. So go down in the video description below. And now guys, let's go over to the charts. But guys, if you want to support this channel, please smash up the like button and subscribe. And we're going to start on the weekly chart. Yes, on the weekly chart we can see that Bitcoin came all the way back to the 200 moving average, this red line, and that is really going to be important. Are we going to break above this major resistance of the 200 moving average, which is exactly at the $28,000 level? And if we're going to zoom out and we're going to turn on the VPVR, the volume price range, then we can see yes, we've got this major resistance and this volume exactly at the $28,000 level, where we also have previous resistance exactly here and also here. So guys, yes, it is really going to be important if we're going to see this bullish move higher, that Bitcoin is going to break the 200 moving average on the weekly chart, and this means that Bitcoin has to come above the $28,000 level. But on the weekly chart we can see that yes, we had this massive pump yesterday, but we saw this massive correction. So why did we see this correction? If we go over to the dollar currency index, yes, this was the time when Bitcoin broke out, where we saw that the dollar currency index had the small retracement and Bitcoin pumped towards the upside, but now we saw that the DXY came all the way up to the $107 level. So yes guys, if we're going to see this consolidation or even a retracement from the US dollar, we could expect that yes, Bitcoin is going to break the 200 moving average. But let's go back on the daily chart, and yes, on the daily chart we can see guys, we nearly reached our price target of the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level, which is also in this major resistance box. And yesterday I told you that we're most probably going to form a flag, but first of all we're going to look at the EMAs, the moving averages, and we can see that Bitcoin perfectly bounced off from the 100 moving average on the daily chart, where we can see that the price movement had this correction, and now we saw this bounce at the moment, and this is also exactly in the support box that we've been talking about. So what is really going to be important? Yes, we're also going to look at the volume price range to find out where's the major next resistance level, and if we're going to turn on the VPVR, then we can see, yes, exactly at the 61.8, we can see this major volume cluster, and this could be a major resistance zone because we also had this breakout level and also previous support and resistance exactly at this major volume zone, and that's why we have this major volume exactly here. But we can also see we have this major gap in the volume price range exactly here, so this means we could expect a fast move towards the upside, and we can also see on the volume price range that yes, at this level, at the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level, which is going to be our retracement, and we perfectly are at these levels. We bounced off from the 38.2, which is on the daily chart exactly here, previous resistance, so this will act as support. So this is going to be really important. But if we're going to see that Bitcoin comes all the way back to the next volume level, and also where we can see the 13 EMA crossing the 50 and also the 200 moving average on the daily chart, that we could expect also a bounce from these levels. Because yes, this would still be bullish because Bitcoin would still be forming a higher low, and we could expect that we're going to see this continuation. But let's go down on the lower time frames on the 15-minute chart. So yes, on the 15-minute chart, guys, we can see that we had this major pump, this massive green candle, and then we saw this continuation towards the upside, and then we can see we lost this trend line exactly here, and we saw this breakdown. But guys, nothing can go up in a straight line, and this correction are just normal. But if we look at the price movement at the moment, we perfectly bounced off from this trend line that we have been farming from this breakout area, where the price movement broke out on the daily chart exactly here, and we can see this continuation all the way to the upside. But what is really going to be important, that we need to form some bullish structures on the 15-minute chart, and this means that yes, we should form higher lows, and also we should see some kind of a breakout pattern, which normally is a W formation, so that we could expect this continuation towards the upside, and we're going to draw the Fibonacci retracement levels from the top all the way to the bottom, and then we can see at the moment we're at the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level. So yes, the 38.2, which is perfectly the top of the support box, and we have previous support exactly here. So these are going to be our first price targets. If we're going to see this bullish structure on the 15-minute chart, then we could expect this breakout to the 38.2, the 61.8, and the 78.6. But this is really going to be important, that after we're going to see this breakout, that Bitcoin is really going to form a higher high, and that we're going to come all the way into this major resistance zone back above the 28,000 US dollar level, and preferably over the 29,000 US dollar level. Because if we're going to form a lower high, then we could expect that yes, we're going to see the price movement come all the way back down into this major boxes. But what is going to happen if we're going to break this upwards trend? Then we can see on the daily chart we have all the way to the levels of 26,700 US dollars to still be forming a higher low, so that we could expect this move even higher. But overall this is quite bullish because Bitcoin has formed a higher high in comparison to the previous one. So this is the first indication that the overall trend has turned around, and that we could expect that Bitcoin is going to go even higher. So yes guys, these are the important levels that Bitcoin needs to hold, and that we need to break the 200 moving average on the weekly chart. So break above the 28,000 US dollars and hold it as support. So at the moment we don't know, is it a trap for the bulls, that this was the high, and that we're going to form a lower low and come all the way to this bearish price targets, or is it a trap for the bears, and we're going to see this massive continuation. Guys, we need to look at the charts to find out what we could expect. So now you know what's the biggest trap in humanity, the fiat currencies, and that's why you should dollar cost average into Bitcoin. And guys, make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.